everyone, it's Jananie and welcome back to my channel, The Story Ain't Over. So today I'm doing a really fun video. This is one that I've done once before and I really enjoyed doing it actually, and that is reacting to my TBRs of the year. So I did this last year in 2020 and I looked back on all the TBR videos that I had done throughout the year, and I basically made a list of the books that I had read from my TBR, the books that I hadn't read in my TBR, and then the ones that I didn't want to read anymore. And I found this a really fun exercise because it just showed how much of my TBRs were like actually true and which ones I actually stuck to. But it also gave me a sense of what I should probably prioritize in terms of reading for the end of the year. So I think last year I did this a lot later in the year. I think I did it in like November or December, but this time I'm doing it a little bit earlier in October, at the end of October, before I even do my November TBR, so that I can sort of take some of these books and put them on my November and December TBRs for the end of the year. Usually I read a lot towards the end of the year, like during Christmas, New Year's break. So the hope is that I can get through a lot of these books during that time. But overall, this is gonna be a weird, fun, hilarious time as I look back on the year. I can't believe it's already October and that we're already this far into 2021. I still feel like 2020 is going on, like it hasn't ended, but slowly things are getting better, at least where I live in Canada, so I'm feeling good about that. So yeah, I'm excited to look back on the year and sort of also see the evolution of my channel over the year. It's been a pretty big year for the channel, I feel like. We hit 50K this year, and I'm just, yeah, excited to look back on all of it. So I have this like split screen view here. So on the left is my Notion, and I'm not going to be doing readathon TBRs as it says, but yeah, these are all of the months of the year and then the TBR videos. So I actually did a TBR video for every single month of the year this year, which is actually pretty surprising. Usually I only do it for some of the months of the year. I think I mentioned this in my video last year, but a lot of times like I'll have a TBR for like say January and I'll like use it for 2 months because I tend to be ambitious with them and then not be able to read that much. But this year I just really liked making TBR videos for some reason. So we're gonna go through each one, and I think it was also one of my goals at the beginning of the year to be consistent and, you know, do a TBR and a wrap up each month. So that was what I was doing. But we're gonna find out how many of these books I actually read. So here we go. This is my January TBR. It also has my reading goals for 2021, which is also another interesting thing that I would love to react to and think about because I feel like there are some that I didn't hit, but let's see. And welcome back to my channel, The Story Ain't Over. So today we are in a new year, finally. The Dragon Republic. So I absolutely loved the Poppy Wars series, and I love the Dragon Republic. I think out of the 3 books, the Poppy War was probably my favorite, but I really enjoyed the Dragon Republic and also the Burning God. There's so many twists and turns throughout the entire series, and R. Kwong is definitely a new favorite author. So yeah, the Dragon Republic is going in this list. Lore! I did end up reading this one by Alexandra Bracken, and I'm sad to say that I did not like this one as much as I was hoping to. This one was quite disappointing for me because I had such high expectations for it, and it just did not hit them. Wow, 2 for 2 already. Let's see what else is on this list. I think this was the short TBR. Oh no. Liv from Stories for Coffee talk about this a bunch of times. I love Olivia Liv from Stories for Coffee, and she's recommended this book multiple times. It's a translated work that she's like was just so amazing, and I've heard so many great things about it. Is The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa, and this is translated from Japanese, but I actually know it. Okay, so this is one that I've been meaning to read for ages, and I remember seeing this on my reacting to my TBRs of 2020 video because it was also a book that I put on multiple TBRs in 2020 and never got around to reading, and lo and behold, I still have not read it. I think I did try to start it in February, I think, and I just couldn't get into it, but it's not like I thought it was bad, it's just I wasn't in the mood for it at the time. So it's definitely one I want to prioritize for the end of the year. Ooh, The Henna Artist. I did read this one. I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite books of, oh, I thought I had read it last year, but I guess I read it this year. It was one of my favorite books of this year. Wow, that's gonna be a really long list for my top 10 books at the end of this year. It's probably gonna be more than 10 because I've read a lot of good books. If you're looking for a historical fiction, something set in India, if you're looking for like a powerful story of like a strong woman, that is a really great book. Okay. Oh, I meant to reread Graceland by Kristen Cashore because I wanted to reread the entire series in lead up to the new installment in that series, which the author released after like 10 years, which is called Winterkeep, and I'm pretty sure it's on this TBR as well. Yeah, Winterkeep. And I never actually got around to doing any of that, like rereading the series or picking up Winterkeep, because I know if I pick up Winterkeep, I'm not gonna remember a lot of the specific things that happened in the previous books, even though I absolutely love that series. It's just like been so long since I've read it that I don't remember a lot of the exact plot. So it's definitely what I need to like reread the previous books before getting into, even though it does sort of stand on its own, but it does follow one of the characters who was actually my least favorite out of the 3 protagonists in the 3 different books. So yeah, we'll see. I do want to get to it, but I don't think it'll be anytime soon because I just don't think I'll have the time to reread the entire series. But regardless, I'm just gonna put it on the still need to read list. So Winterkeep. But I do know. Okay, the next book is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and so many of you told me to read this. So many of you said that you were enjoying it. I saw it blow up on TikTok as well, and so that's kind of why I wanted to pick it up. I was just seeing the hype around it and I wanted to see what it was about. I knew it had vampires, I think, and it was a romance book and had some steamy stuff, and I was like in the mood for it at the time. So I did actually buy it, and then I tried reading it and I actually really was not liking it. I didn't like the writing style and I didn't like the weird tropiness of it. I think I could give it another chance, but I don't think it's a book that I'm gonna pick up anytime soon. So that's how I'm sort of feeling with that one. I know a lot of you wanted me to still try it and, you know, give it another chance, but for now, I'm not really feeling it. Okay. I think that's the last book on this TBR. Hey everyone, it's Jananie, and welcome back to my channel. This story ain't over. So today I do miss this angle of my videos, but after I did my room redecoration, I don't have like the corner bookshelf anymore, which is unfortunate. Also, this is like my most viewed TBR ever. 24,000 views, which is wild. Oh my god, I just remembered I was in lockdown when like it was the beginning of this year. That was a depressing time, but we made it out. Fully vaxxed now, been going out, and it's been a grand time, but wow, I feel bad for past me in February. So that book is The House in the... okay, so The House in the Cerulean Sea is the first book on this list, and I actually did read this one, and I absolutely loved it. It's a really, really sort of wholesome fantasy book. So, House in the Cerulean Sea. If you're looking for like a nice pick-me-up read and just like a wholesome read, that is the one to pick up. Okay. City of Brass is the next one. And this is a book that I've been trying to read for like years now. It's been on my TBR for so long. And I actually did start it this year, and I think it was in February, but I got about like 150 pages in, and then I never got around to continuing. I do still have a bookmark in that book, and I do plan to continue it soon at some point. I definitely think it's gonna be one I'm gonna prioritize for the end of the year though. What's going on? Still need to read The City of Brass. And it's funny because I own like the other 2 books in the series too, so it's gonna really suck if I don't like this one. But we'll see. Let's see what the next one is. Oh, Beach Read. I absolutely loved Beach Read. And I think I actually finished it before I filmed this TBR, the February one, but I put it on the February TBR anyways because I had finished it like literally a day before February. If you're looking for a really fun romance novel, it's the perfect one to read. It's a great pick-me-up. It also has some like really deeper parts to it. It also deals with grief as well. 10 out of 10 read. And I just love Emily Henry romances now, so yeah, highly recommend her. Oh, here's another one I did not read. We Hunt the Flame. I've had this on TBRs for like all through 2020 and then 2021, and I've been meaning to read it for ages, but I just keep starting it and then not really feeling it and not being able to get pretty far in it, and then I just end up sort of abandoning it, and I mean to get back to it every time, but yeah, I just haven't gotten around to it. I think I'm just having issues with like these dense fantasies and sort of getting into them. So unless it grabs my attention in like the first 3 seconds, I'm like really bad at getting further in them, even though I love fantasy. But regardless, I'm putting it on my still need to read list because I know so many people love this series. Oh, Dark Age, another one I have not read. So there's a reason for this one though. Basically this is the 5th book in the Red Rising series. So originally it was 3 books and then the author decided to add 3 more to the series. It's like a sequel that take place many years later. And so I've read the first in the new trilogy, Iron Gold, but there has been so much time between each installment of the series. And so when Dark Age came out, I meant to read it, but then I was like, I don't even remember half the stuff that happened in Iron Gold. And so I intended to start it and then never ended up doing that. And it also took me a really long time to finish Iron Gold, but that's also another point. There's also no like release date yet for the final book, even though I know the author is working on it, I'm pretty sure. So my hope is to read Dark Age when the last book comes out so I can just like binge them together. I probably will reread Iron Gold as well because I just don't remember like half the stuff that happens in that book. And I feel like it's one of those series where you do sort of need the previous context. Or maybe I should just look up some sort of like recap on YouTube. But regardless, I'm going to save this one for later. I should maybe make a section for like books I want to read, not in the near future. Okay, so that is all the books on my February TBR. Let's go to March. Hey everyone, it's Jananie and welcome back to my channel, The Story Ain't Over. Okay, I did the thing again where I went through all the books I didn't read from the previous TBR. I think that part of the TBRs, when I was doing that at the beginning of the year, kind of helped with making sure I actually got through at least half of my TBR because I knew I would have to talk about how I didn't finish stuff. But I sort of stopped doing that halfway through the year. Okay, so the first book that we have in terms of like a new TBR on my March TBR is How the King of Elfheim Learned Hate Stories, which is like the short story collection of like little stories from the Folk of the Air series by Holly Black. And to be honest, I did not get around to reading this one. I did like a whole Cruel Prince theme for my bullet journal that month. But yeah, I just never got around to it. I do want to read it. I don't know if it'll be anytime soon. I think during maybe December break, I'll have some time to just like read some nice stories. So I'm gonna put it down here and still need to read soon. Let's see, what's next? Oh, Queenie. Okay, this is another one where I had the situation where I wanted to read it. It's been on my TBR for multiple months and I like always start it and then I can never get quite far into it and then I never end up finishing it. It is one I want to read soon. I think I've read like similar books to it that I really enjoyed, so I do think it's one I will enjoy. I just need to get through it. I think whenever I hit this sort of like wall with certain books, it is very hard for me to come back to it and actually get through it again when I know I've lost interest before. Oh, The Night Tiger. I actually did finish this one. I didn't love it as much as I was hoping to. It was definitely more of like a 3-star lukewarm read, but I did think it was enjoyable and I did think it had some really interesting parts to it. It has some really cool speculative elements and supernatural bits to it, but it also just had like a really interesting setting. It's set in Malaysia and I just thought the characters were really compelling as well. Like I love the way she wrote the characters, so I really wanted to like know what was going to happen to them and all that, but I think the overall like plot and storyline just was slow at times for me, so that's probably what I didn't like about it. The next book, oh, okay, A Taste for Love. I've been meaning to read this one for ages, and I think I put it on multiple TBRs this year, but I just never got around to reading it. I have been finding this year that I have not been enjoying a lot of YA as much as I have in previous years, and I think that's just a function of growing older and wanting more older stories and stuff. So I've read very few YA contemporaries in specific because those are the ones that are usually like set in high school with like very teen experiences. So yeah, that's probably the reason why I didn't pick up this one. I do think it's a really cute concept. I don't think I'm gonna read this one anytime soon, so I'm gonna put it in this list. A Taste for Love. The next one is, oh no, The Gilded Ones. Okay, so this is a book that I am not sure I will get to anytime soon. So this is a YA fantasy. It seemed really cool from the concept and I actually got quite far into it. I think about 100 or so pages in and I wasn't loving it. I do think it was a book that started off really cool, but then I, for some reason, lost interest. And I think this is another function of it just being like a YA fantasy. I wasn't really feeling it. I did think it was a really interesting concept and I do want to know how it ends, but I also don't think even if I finish it, I'll want to continue with like the series. So I'm on the fence here. I do want to finish it, but I also don't know what that will accomplish. So I think I'm gonna put it under I still need to read, but not anytime soon. Like, it's not a priority. Okay, and that is the last book for March, so let's go to April. Hey everyone, it's Jananie, and welcome back to my channel. This story ain't over. So today I'm coming to you. Oh my god, I posted this on March 31st. I haven't been that early for a TBR in a while. Also, it says chaotic April TBR, which I feel on a supernatural level. And okay, Actor Age Eve Brown. I did actually finish this one and I absolutely loved it. I will say I didn't love it as much as Take a Hint Danny Brown, but I did like it more than Get a Life Chloe Brown, just because I feel like I related more to Danny and Eve rather than Chloe, and I just loved like the romances in both of those a little bit more. But this one was super cute. I also really loved like the autism rep as well, and I just loved like Eve as a main character. She's so chaotic, which was just so fun to follow along with. And then the like steamy scenes in this one were fantastic as well. Ooh, Shadow and Bone. I did actually reread it in April, which was very exciting. And I felt very proud of myself for actually finishing the reread before the show came out, which was also a very exciting time. I'm like now remembering that this was when Shadow and Bone came out. So yeah, that was a great time of the year as well. And when I got to do that like partnership with Netflix as well, the video where I got to react to scenes of the show before came out, that was just so cool. I will leave that linked down below, though it has a lot of spoilers, so be careful of that if you haven't watched the show yet. Ooh, Anna K. I did not end up rereading this, but I did read the sequel, which I did put on my TBR here, so I'm gonna add that. Anna K. Away. This is a really lovely, you know, YA duology. It's a contemporary duology. It is a retelling of Anna Karenina, but like set in modern day New York with like teen characters, and like you get that sort of Gossip Girl vibe to it because they are very wealthy teenagers. I absolutely love Anna K, and I also loved the sequel as well. I was surprised by how much I loved it because I didn't really think that there was more story to tell after the first one, but the author did a really great job of the sequel and I just loved it. I loved seeing Anna K's like journey forward, and it was just a really heartwarming read, which I really enjoyed. Oh, the X Talk. Okay, I did not get around to reading this one, and I don't know if I'm gonna get to it anytime soon. I tried to start it and I just wasn't really feeling it that much. It didn't grab me right away, and since it was a romance, like I was expecting it to be a little bit more fast-paced, I think, and it just wasn't starting quick enough for me, and maybe it was just the mood that I was in, but yeah, I just wasn't feeling it. I do know that a lot of people liked it though I have heard like mixed-ish things, so I'm on the fence. I don't think I'll probably get to it before the end of the year, so I'm gonna put it under a book I still need to read, but not anytime soon. The X Talk. I am also very surprised that the longest list here is the books I've actually read, which is exciting. Oh, Tokyo Ever After. Okay, this is another one that I kept putting off and I really want to read. So Tokyo Ever After is basically like Princess Diaries, but if the main character's father was like a prince of Japan instead, which is a concept I absolutely love. And so she gets like whisked off to Japan and thrown into this royal life, and there's romance and there's coming of ageness, and it was just so cute. It seems like really cute. But again, it was like a YA and I just wasn't in the mood for YA at the time, so I didn't end up picking it up, but it is definitely one I want to read sometime soon, so hopefully before the end of the year. I actually haven't read it. Oh, okay. Clara and the Sun. This one was one that I was so excited for, and then I just never got around to reading. It is Kazuo Ishigiro's new book. I absolutely love Remains of the Day by him, but I actually haven't read any of his other books. I really should. I do have Never Let Me Go, which I'm hoping to read soon. But yeah, Clara and the Sun was the new one, and the concepts seem interesting. It involves like artificial intelligence and this concept of like a companion doll, I think, or something like that, from her perspective though. And I just thought it was cool. But I have heard a lot of like mixed opinions about it, and a lot of people didn't really love it as much as they were hoping to, so I'm sort of on the fence. I did try to start it though, and I wasn't really feeling it at the time, so I do want to read it soon, and I do want to like get it done before the end of the year, so I'm going to put it under books I need to read soon. Okay, that was the last book on that list. Let's go to May. This was a lot easier last year when I did less TBRs. Hey everyone, it's Jananie and welcome back to Okay, so this includes my Asian readathon TBR, which I'm probably not gonna count. Actually, no, maybe I will. We'll see. Oh, okay, I said I would reread Six of Crows. I did not do that, and we're just gonna ignore that. Rule of Wolves. Oh my god, I still haven't read that, and I just remembered that. I didn't really love King of Scars as much as I was hoping to. It was definitely more like a 3-star read for me rather than the like 5-star I was expecting, especially because it was a book all about Nikolai, but it ended up feeling like a book that was not that much about Nikolai, which is part of the reason why I didn't like it as much. But I have heard that Rule of Wolves is better and gets better, so I do actually want to read that before the end of the year, so I'm going to add it to the list. Ooh, Anxious People. I did actually finish this one. I read the entire thing on the audiobook, which is interesting because there's like so many characters in it, but I think the audiobook narrator or narrators, I can't remember if it's one or multiple narrators, but I think it was one because she was just really good at doing different voices. Yeah, it was really, really fantastic. Like so many characters, but she did so many different voices, and it's a really fun book. I think it was definitely a lot less literary than I was expecting, and it was a lot more like commercial, which I enjoyed, and it was just a really interesting sort of character study on multiple different characters, which I thought was cool. So yeah, if you're looking for like a slightly literary character study, it was a good one, and it involves a bank robbery gone wrong. Oh, okay, The Honey Girl, or Honey Girl, was the next book on that list, and I actually did read that one, and I had a lot of fun with it. It definitely wasn't like a 5-star read, but it was a really enjoyable one, and I really liked the characters, and I liked the love interest as well. It was just like a nice read. Not my favorite, but a really nice read. And a really nice like romance as well. And sort of coming of age story when you are a bit older. Like it's about a woman in her late 20s, you know, trying to figure out her life. Okay, Anna K. Away is on here, and I think, oh, I might have read it only in May. Beyond the Flame was on here again for Asian Readathon. Oh, Ali Wong's book, her memoir, Dear Girls. I actually read this and I loved it. If you're looking for a celebrity memoir book to read, this one was fantastic. It's hilarious, like Ali Wong is. And the audiobook is actually narrated by her, and I thought that was like a really nice experience. So I listened to the entire thing on the audiobook and I just loved it. Just hearing her sort of tell her story in her own words was just really fantastic. Okay, The Secret Keeper of Jaipur I never ended up getting around to, but I definitely want to get to hopefully before the end of the year. This is the companion novel to The Henna Artist, which I absolutely loved, as I said, so I do want to get to it. And what's the last one? Oh my god, Palace of Illusions. Okay, I keep putting this one off, but I am like 3/4 of the way through it, and I just have like 100 pages left. I will finish it. I keep telling you guys I will, and it's just one of those books that like takes me a while to get through, and it's not even that long either. I don't know, something about it. I think it's the pacing probably, but also just the way that I don't remember like very significant details from the epic. It's based off of an Indian epic, and so I always want to like search up things as I'm reading, and then that makes it take longer for me to read, and then I just have other books that I want to read and then I don't end up finishing it. But that one is high on my list, and I will finish it before the end of the year, or else you guys can yell at me. Let's move to June. Hey everyone, it's Jananie, and welcome back to my channel. This story 8 over. Ooh, Counting Down with You. Okay, I did actually end up reading this one. It definitely wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. It did feel a little bit on the young side, which makes sense. It's a YA book. It definitely felt very teenish, and I think a younger, like, actual teen would really, really enjoy it. So if I had read it like 5 years ago, I would have absolutely loved it and like ate it up. Because I'm much older now, I just didn't connect to it in the same way. But it is objectively like a good teen book. I think I just like didn't really connect with the romance because I felt like it was a bit insta-lovey, but it was like a really cute book, and I love the representation. The main character is Bangladeshi, and she is sort of like chafing under her parents' like very strict rules for her, and so that was something that I found very, very relatable. So that aspect of the book I really, really loved. I think it was just a romance that I wasn't really into. Oh no, okay. There's a bunch of books on this list that I didn't read, I think. So The Ones We're Meant to Find, I've been meaning to read that one for ages, and I put it on this TBR, and I was so excited when it came out, and I bought it, and then I never ended up reading it. It is a sci-fi, and it seems like the perfect thing I would enjoy. I think it was just because it was like a YA, and I just wasn't in the mood for YA at the time that I didn't end up reading it. So it's definitely high on my list. Oh, okay, Normal People by Sally Rooney. I did buy this one this year, and I do want to pick it up. I might be doing like a whole Sally Rooney video just to see what the hype is about, because this was the thing about it. I sort of bought it because of the hype, but then I started reading it, or I tried to start reading it, and I wasn't super feeling it, but I was only like a chapter or two in. So my hope is to read that and some other of her books and see if I do end up liking it. So that is gonna go probably under books I still need to read soon. Normal people. What is next? Oh, People We Meet on Vacation. I did read this one and I absolutely loved it. People We Meet on Vacation. This is Emily Henry's next book, and I didn't even know that it was coming out until it was out, and then I went and I bought it right away and I started reading it right away and absolutely loved it. It was such a good book. It has like that friends to lovers trope in like a very strong angsty way, and I absolutely loved it. Like, you're seeing their friendship develop over like a whole decade and how they were like both in love with each other at different points and whatever. I just loved the entire situation and the romance of it and the friends to lover situation and the angst, and it was just fan-freaking-tastic. A great romance if you're looking for one. Okay, Tokyo Ever After is back again here. Oh, and then Circe is the last one on here, and this one I still haven't read, but I think I might be reading it with my patrons on Patreon next month for November. It's either that or The Jasmine Throne, I think, or The Love Hypothesis. It's one of those three that are the finalists for our picks. So I might be reading it soon for that. Let's do July. I have a feeling this one's going to be full of books I haven't read because I didn't actually read anything in July, I think. It just ended up being like a really busy month. I had gotten like my double vax and people were going out more, and we went on like a family trip for my parents' anniversary, and it was like a whole thing. So yeah, I was just really busy. Didn't read much, but we'll see what my progress was.
Hey everyone, it's Jananie and welcome back to my channel, The Story.
Let's see. Okay, Palace of Illusions, I mention again. Oh, Dial A for Aunties. I really wanted to read this and then didn't get around to it. I do think it's one I want to read, but I don't think it'll be anytime soon. So I'm actually gonna put it in this list. I think I'm just not in the mood for it right now, but I think I'll be in the mood for it later on. So on the list for later. It's basically like a mix of a murder mystery with like a rom-com situation and then like these aunties helping her out, which I love this concept. I think it'll be a lot of fun, but yeah, just not in the mood for it right now. But I say this and I'll probably like pick it up in like a week or so. Oh, okay. The Chosen and the Beautiful. This is another one I didn't end up getting around to, but I did actually start reading and I got like, I think 50 pages in. It's basically like a retelling of Great Gatsby, but from Jordan Baker's perspective with a bit of like speculative elements thrown on top. And I absolutely love this concept, but reading it, it definitely feels like a classic. Like, it's written in the same sort of voice and language, and so it is a bit of a slower read, but I do want to finish it, and I think it's one I want to finish before the end of the year as well. Oh, Ace of Spades. I actually did finish this one. I had really high expectations for this one, and I think I was a little bit disappointed by it, but it was a really good, objectively good book. I think there was just aspects to it that fell flat for me. I feel like some of the romance and like character parts, like I feel like the characters were just doing things that just didn't make sense a lot of the time. Not just like impulsive stuff, but just like logically just didn't make sense. But I felt like I loved the mystery aspect of it and thriller aspect of it and just like the overall message and commentary that it was making on like the race relations and stuff. So absolutely loved it for that reason. You should definitely check it out if you're looking for like a dark academia thriller. It was really great. Okay, this is another one I didn't finish, The Other Black Girl. I am in the middle of this one, but it's definitely a bit slower than I was expecting. It does deal with like a black girl in publishing, and it is a little bit of a mystery, but I know a lot of people who went into it thinking it was going to be a thriller and like, you know, more of a mystery, and it definitely wasn't. And I sort of went into it knowing it was more of like a commentary on working in publishing as a person of color. So yeah, that was the part that I was excited for rather than the thriller part. So I was enjoying it. It's just, it was a bit slower, and I didn't get around to, you know, continuing with it. Also because it has sort of chapters from other perspectives that I wasn't really enjoying. So yeah, it's just one I need to finish, and I am hoping to soon, but right now my feelings are a bit lukewarm about it. Oh my god, this list is already like at 16 for books I still need to read soon. I'm probably gonna move some of these to books I'm gonna read later on. Actually, let's do that right now. I don't think I'll get to Queenie anytime soon, so I'm gonna move that. And I don't think I'll get to How the King of Elfhame Learned Hate Stories. Same with We Hunt the Flame. I'm just not in the mood for it right now. And Winterkeep, I also don't think I'll read anytime soon. Okay, the rest of these I really want to read soon though, so I'm gonna leave them there. But maybe I'll pare it down in a bit. after I see what else I have to add to that list. Ooh, Gear Breakers. I really want to read this soon, so I'm gonna put it here. It's another sci-fi and it also involves a sapphic relationship, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, I've heard really great things about it. It's another YA though, which is why I probably haven't gotten around to reading it, but I do want to read it, so it's on the list. Ooh, Version Zero. I really want to read this one. It's by David Yoon, and it's basically, it involves someone working in tech, and he gets like fired from his job and sort of blue-balled from the industry, and so he and his friends decide that they're gonna like shut down the internet or break the internet, and it's sort of a heist situation. And I really love David Yoon's Frankly in Love. This is quite different and it's also an adult book, but I'm excited for it, so I'm gonna put it on the list. Version Zero. Ooh, okay, Jasmine Throne, another one I am hoping to read very soon. I don't think I'm gonna get to it before the end of the year though, unless it is the Patreon book club pick. So I'm just gonna put it under books I need to read soon. This one is like an Indian inspired fantasy. It's got like a sapphic romance in it and just so many things I love. I just know it's like a big book, like it's really thick. I think it's like close to 500 pages or something, so it would take me a while to get through, which is why I just have been hesitant about picking it up. Okay, so that's the end of the July TBR. Let's go to August. We have 2 more after that. Okay, so this is the TBR I did after not having read for like an entire month, so that was also an interesting experience. Let's go to the first book on this list. Okay, Palace of Illusions is again on here. Chosen in the Beautiful, Other Black Girl. Oh, Atomic Habits. I'm actually in the middle of reading this one, so technically I'm like halfway through that, but it's one I need to finish soon. It's just basically like a self-help productivity book about like creating better habits, which is something I definitely need to do. Oh, Hamnet. I really want to read this one. It's by Maggie O'Farrell. It basically follows Shakespeare's life when he was alive and like his family and everything. And I think that's just like a really interesting concept. And apparently it's really well written as well, but it's definitely more of a literary one. So I think that's why I've hesitated to actually pick it up. I don't think I'll get to it before the end of this year, but it's probably high on my priority for like January, because I do feel like I like classics a little bit more during like the winter, but we'll see. Okay, and that's it for the August one. This one was a short TBR, I remember, because I hadn't read in July and I was trying to take it easy for the summer, and I just wanted to get to the other books that I had on the previous TBR, but obviously, as you saw, I did not get to them. Oh, this is my Dark Academia TBR, and I know I got through some of these, but I know I didn't get through some of the other ones, so let's see. Okay, so the first one on here is The Maidens by Alex Michaelids, and I actually read this one and loved it. I know people had mixed feelings about this one in particular, but I really enjoyed it and thought it was a fun, you know, mystery thriller. So that's going here, and then I think I also put The Silent Patient on this list, yeah. And I also read that one and absolutely loved it as well. They are very different books, I feel like, but both of them had great mysteries to them and really great twists. Ooh, Devil in the Device. I'm currently reading this one and I am going to finish it before the end of this year. I really loved Goddess in the Machine by Laura Beth Johnson, and yeah, I want to know how this duology is going to end. It's basically like a sci-fi where the main character goes into cryonic sleep and wakes up, instead of 100 years later with her friends and family trying to colonize a new planet, she ends up waking up 1,000 years late. And everyone who is around her when she wakes up thinks she's some sort of goddess emerging from the machine, and that she might have answers to their, you know, crumbling society. Oh, okay, I also put Starless Sea on this TBR because I had gotten it from the library and I started to read it. And then, of course, my hold expired because I had never gotten around to finishing it. So I do want to read this one. I don't know if I'll get to it before the end of the year, so I'm going to put it for later. I have tried to read the author's other book, The Night Circus, and got like halfway through and just was not feeling it. I feel like it's a lot more of like a, you know, literary, the words are pretty book rather than a plot book, which I just wasn't feeling. But I have heard that The Starless Sea is better, but I'm not sure. The Secret History, again, this is one that I had on my TBRs for 2020 and then never got around to, and then I put on my TBR for September this year because I wanted to read Dark Academia, and then I never got around to it. And you know what? I just don't think I'm gonna get around to this one anytime soon, or at all. I'm gonna put it down on this bottom list for now because I've tried to start it multiple times and I just can't get into it for some reason. And I think that might be a function of the book itself. I might give it a second chance later on, but No guarantees. Oh, okay, A Deadly Education. I meant to pick this one up as well, but I recently saw a review actually from Elias who had picked it up and he didn't realize it was a YA, and I actually thought it was an adult as well. So this is also an issue. But yeah, he was saying how he just wasn't really liking the main character or whatever, and I feel like I might feel the same way about it. It does seem like a cool concept, but I've heard like mixed reviews about it. So I'm gonna put this on not anytime soon. Oh, How We Fall Apart. This is another dark academia that I was really excited about, and then when it got around to actually wanting to pick it up, I just didn't have the motivation. I do want to read it, but not anytime soon, I think. But one thing that I really appreciate about it is that it is set in like this, you know, private academy, but it follows like 4 or 5 different Asian main characters. Oh my god, The Truants. This is one I read and I got halfway through and hated it and DNF'd it. So it does still go on my books I read. Yeah, I just hated the main character and thought the plot was ridiculous and really didn't like where it was going and didn't really feel like seeing how it was gonna end. So just DNF that one because I chose, you know, joy over suffering. Ooh, next on here is All's Well, and it's actually the last one, and I did finish that one and I absolutely loved it. I have a whole reading vlog for that book if you want to go check it out, and we also did a live show for it for the Literally Dead book club, which is hosted by Kayla from Books and Lala. You should definitely go check that out. I'll leave it linked down below, but yeah, it was a fantastic book. Okay, we have done September and we're on the last TBR, which is October. Let's see what I've read so far. Obviously, it's like the middle of October, so I haven't gotten to some of these, but I actually have gotten through many of them, which I'm very excited about. Okay, so the first one on here is The Inheritance of Orchidia Divina, which I absolutely loved. I have a reading vlog for this one and actually for most of the books on this list. Yeah, absolutely love this one. It's a fantastic like magical realism, spooky read, and the entire book is filled with, you know, supernatural speculative elements to it, which I just absolutely loved. Okay, Steel Striker I haven't gotten around to yet, but it's on the list for hopefully the end of this month, but if not, I'll read it in November or December. Verity. This is another one that I'm gonna get to not this month, probably later. I decided to push it off. Ooh, The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I absolutely loved this book. This was the one in my last reading vlog. It was fantastic. You guys should definitely check it out. It was just a really great like horror novel and like, you know, supernatural novel with like vampires as well. But it also had like some really, really great like social commentary. It's set in like the late 80s or early 90s. So there's also like the time period to consider. And I just absolutely loved it. Like it was so well done. And the author is definitely one I'm going to be watching out for. Like I'm so curious to see how his other books are and, you know, what else he has up his sleeve. Ooh, okay, White Smoke. This is another one. It's gonna be in my next vlog and I'm very excited about reading it. It's a haunted house story and it's by Tiffany D. Jackson, who is one of my favorite YA thriller writers. She has some great like plot twists and stuff, so I can't wait to see how this one's gonna go. And then we have Year of the Witching, which I am gonna read in the next vlog as well. Okay, the next book on here is Mexican Gothic. My god, I loved that book. It was so good. Like even better than I expected, which is saying something because I had pretty high expectations for it since it won the Goodreads like horror award and like so many people were raving about it last year and it was so good. So good. I will never look at mushrooms the same way. If you've read the book, you know. But it was also just like a great like gothic horror novel if you love like Jane Eyre or Wuthering Heights. If you love those types of classics, it's a great one to pick up. And also I've just recently fallen in love with Silvia Moreno Garcia's writing. I've been reading all of her backlist books and they are fantastic. So yeah, a great author to pick up as well. That is the last book on the TBR, and that's the last TBR that I have for this year. I will be doing like a November and December TBR and basing it very much off of these lists that I've made. So let's look at our final count. So books I actually ended up reading, we have 22, which I think is pretty good. I think I've read 50 or so books this year, like through the entire year. So that's about like half of it, almost half of it. And they all came from my TBRs, which I think is pretty good. There are definitely books that I didn't put on any TBRs that I actually ended up reading. So there's also that aspect to this. I think there was like a few TBRs like during that like spring summer section of the year where I just didn't get much reading done, so I didn't stick to them as often. But overall, I feel pretty proud of myself for that number. And then books I still need to read soon, there's 21, which It's like an exact match. So yeah, even though I've gotten pretty far with my TBRs, there's still a long way to go. These are all books that I think didn't fit the expectations that I had for them, or I started and I didn't get around to getting further with. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna make more of a mission in the next year to really finish books that I start. And if I'm not going to finish them, then like DNF them properly. I think it's just, I have an issue of like starting 10 different books at once, and then when I am really interested in one, I lose interest in the other, and then I don't end up finishing those other books. So I think it's just a matter of sticking to one book at a time, which has really helped me in October at least. Like I've been reading every book sort of consecutively after the other instead of like starting one and then starting another, which has helped with finishing. So yeah, but a lot of these seem like they'll be really great and I do want to finish them, or I'm in the middle of them. So we'll see how many of them I get through before the end of the year. And then in terms of books I still want to read, but not anytime soon, there are 12 of them. I think, again, these ones were ones that just didn't fit my expectations in certain ways, or I don't feel like I'll be in the mood for before the end of the year. And then of the books I don't want to read anymore, I think these ones are just ones that like I had heard a lot of hype about and wanted to read, but now I've just like lost interest because the hype has sort of died. So I'm just too lazy to pick them up now. We'll see if I ever get around to them. Definitely leave me a comment down below which of these books you're surprised I actually read or didn't read, which ones you think I should get on ASAP, especially the ones that are on my like books I need to read soon, like before the end of the year, so I know what books to prioritize for the next 2 TBRs of the year. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go check out my Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and TikTok in the description down below. And if you haven't already, go check out my Patreon. It's a really awesome space where you can sign up for a membership and you get exclusive access to extra videos, extended cuts, daily updates from me, and also little movie nights and live shows that I do with my patrons. We also have a monthly book club buddy read that is launching in November and going to be continuing each month, and you'll get to vote on which book we read that month. So if you want to be in on a little intimate book club, definitely go sign up for my Patreon. It also just helps support me so I can continue to bring you these videos, and I really appreciate those of you who have already signed up. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video, and please remember that this story ain't over. Bye!